Nebraska won the toss and deferred to the second half, so they'll kick to Tony Brooks-James, and off we go in Eugene. Took it back for a touchdown to open last week's game. This one's over his head.
The safety who missed last week, and when we talked to defensive coordinator, there he is on the right side of your screen. When we talked to Jim Levitt, he said, well, I don't know how well he's going to be able to play. This is his first time coming back into a live game scenario. Able to come up with the opportunistic pick. And again, credit Thomas Graham being able to disrupt the concentration of wide receiver Stanley Morgan.
This is an Oregon defense that a year ago was third worst in the country, giving up more than 40 points per game. So they went out and hired that man, Jim Levitt, who turned around the defense at Colorado most recently.
Keep that leverage on the outside. Talked about that battle between Hollins and Gates. Gates, the most experienced offensive lineman for Nebraska, really the anchor. Had a chance to talk to their quarterback, Tanner Lee, and asked him to describe what Nick Gates was kind of like. Said it's a dirty, nasty lineman. Exactly what you think about when you think about an offensive lineman.
There is one changed update on up front for Nebraska. At right tackle, David Neville out with an ankle injury that he suffered last week. So the redshirt freshman Matt Farniak is making his first career start. Overall, they were not overly pleased with how the offensive line played last week, with a pretty experienced group. Yeah, that may be changing, that whole finesse thing. Most recent touchdown coming from Royce Freeman, who one heck of a career here. More than 1,300 yards when he was Pac-12 Offensive Freshman of the Year. And a huge sophomore season. Broke the single-season Oregon record. Dealing with injuries last year. A knee that he suffered against Nebraska. Enough numbers that for a lot of guys would be really good, but for him, not close to what he's come to expect.
And you can see he's number 4 in the Pac-12 career rankings for touchdowns. He's most likely going to surpass everyone this season, at least the way Oregon's been running the football. And when you look at the Pac-12 rushing yards, you could probably get to that number 2 spot, passing Michael James, former great size advantage, 6'1" versus 5'9". Oregon really dominated that last possession.
Not just 6'1", but strong, wide, and tough. His first touchdown of the day. Nebraska in the end zone in 2 minutes and 10 seconds.
Still can't get over that decision. To go for it on 4th and 10, this much time left in the game, but Mike Riley and his return back to Oregon come here just to lay down.
I guess.
Love the aggressiveness. And I think as a player, too, it gives you a sense of confidence, right? You can see that, by the way, Stanley Morgan really attacked the football and how Tanner Lee threw the football.
Oh, Nebraska in the second half so far.
There was really only one man out in the route. Up top, you'll see as he makes his cut for the post, Aaron Williams does a tremendous job of getting back and being there for the tipped football. Heck of a play by cornerback Lamar Jackson to get his hands on the football and not allow the big play.
Ball never should have been thrown there.
Probably not. The tough thing is he might have had a beat on him. Unfortunately, the ball was just thrown a little bit too high. I'm not sure how much lower he could have thrown it, only because of Aaron Williams getting back into coverage. One of the things we really didn't see Nebraska do very often was throw down the middle of the field. A lot of their big games were to the outside. Really, the last 2 interceptions were to the outside. But watch the shallow cross concept. You're going to see the tight end coming across the field from right to left. You'll see number 4, Thomas Graham. He undercuts the route. He saw it the whole way. Pretty opportunistic and big time for a true freshman.
Boy, Oregon's got themselves a player in this guy.
Yeah, I don't think Lee ever saw him. You started to see that green grass, and Hoppus kind of working to that space and anticipated all over the middle. It got intercepted. He kind of pumped and then released the football, just making sure that Morgan was open on the in cut.
First down from the 45. They fake the run. Lee all day to throw. Too tall again. into a similar spot, looking for J.D. Spielman. 2nd and 10.
It looked like he had Spielman open earlier in the route. Kind of waited too long as he was passing through the zone coverage, and he got to the other side where once again Thomas Graham became effective.
6:15 left to go. Antonio Reed, the first man there. The Nebraska defense gets it back with 2.5 to go.
A new wrinkle to the offense this week for Oregon. This bully personnel, but the same play the Nebraska defense saw before. And I think you got to give credit to the Nebraska defense for making the in-game adjustments. I'm sure they didn't practice this throughout the course of the week, but after they saw it earlier in the game, they made the adjustments. That little fly sweep they try to utilize to get to the outside. Reed with the big play.
They hang on 42-35 despite the furious rally from Nebraska.